Hey guys, this is God of Politics, and welcome to a brand new video. But before we get started with this video, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Help me hit 1,000 subscribers. We are on the way to getting there, so please subscribe to the channel so that we can get there. Also, follow me on Twitter and join the Discord. Those are both linked down in the description. But in today's video, I will be doing the top 10 states that trended most towards Joe Biden and the Democratic Party in this election. So, pretty much most of the country, with the exception of a couple states, did trend towards Joe Biden and the Democrats in this election. The only exceptions are states like Mississippi, Arkansas, and Hawaii, but that's not really relevant. But there are a number of states that trended, very vastly towards the Democrats this election, and I will be going over the top 10 from 1 to 10, seeing how much they trended, what's the reason why they trended. So, to start off, the first state is the state of Vermont. Vermont was won by Joe Biden by 35.4 percentage points. If you go back to 2016 here, the state of Vermont was won by Hillary Clinton here by 25.4%, or actually 26.4 percentage points. So that is a 9-point trend towards the Democrats compared to the last election. So that's a pretty big trend. And, most of the reason why is that there were actually a lot of write-in votes that actually went to Bernie Sanders in the 2016 election. So, there was 7.3% of that. But also, as you'll see throughout the rest of this video, the Northeast did trend towards the Democrats, and Vermont is a big part of that. But it trended 9 points towards the Democrats. And you can see there's an increase in turnout, too. 243,000 for Joe Biden, 112,000 for Donald Trump back in 2016. Neither of them even got close to 200,000. So that really shows you, these turnout increases. And, this is like legacy Democrats, I guess you could say. They're not legacy Democrats in the same sense of legacy Democrats like out in the Midwest or out in the Rust Belt in the Midwest. But they are just generally, white voters that have liberal beliefs, and that's been the case for decades in the Northeast, ever since, George Bush won this area back in the 80s as a Rockefeller Republican. But, since then, these areas have been voting very Democrat, and, Biden's matching Obama 2012 levels and even 2008 levels in some cases, so that's very notable. Now, the next state that trended the most is Colorado. Colorado trended 7.9 percentage points Democrat. Now, this is a huge trend. Now, I actually had Colorado as likely. I said it would be on the cusp of likely and safe, but it actually went more blue than I thought it would. If we look at the county map from 2016, we see that Hillary Clinton won the state by 4.9 percentage points. This time, Joe Biden, as you can see here, won it by 12.8 percentage points. And the reason that was, I don't know why it has Brian Carroll there for one of the counties. That's quite funny. But if we do look at the trend map, we can see here, pretty much the whole state trend in Democrat. Whereas if we look at 2016, what areas trend in 2016, it was pretty much unchanged. Like the most any place trended was, almost 9 percentage points in those really rural areas, which was much less than what you saw in many other areas. But you look at the trend, especially in places like the Denver suburbs, a county that has hundreds of thousands of votes trended 11-point Democrat, that makes a big difference, especially with increased turnout. Same thing in Broomfield County, Gilligan County, Jefferson County, Denver County, Adams County, even Pueblo County trended towards the Democrats, which has a high Hispanic population. Same thing in El Paso County, which is a more Republican area. Colorado is not even a competitive state anymore. It's safe Democrat at this point. But that's really reinforced by how well Joe Biden did, shifting it 7.9 percentage points to the Democratic column. Next is Joe Biden's home state of Delaware. Not really many surprises here. He was just able to do better. Hillary Clinton actually, really did not do well here in Delaware. If we look back at the 2016 map and we go to the state of Delaware, we can see that she only won it by 11.4 percentage points, and Joe Biden, this time has won it by 19 percentage points. And he actually won this Kent County here, the middle county, which went red in 2016. So he did better overall, but that's expected. It's his home state. The next state is actually the state of Maine, which trended 7.1 percentage points Democrat. Joe Biden won Maine at large by 10 percentage points. I won't get into the districts individually, but, they trended blue, both of them as well. But Joe Biden won it by 10 percentage points. Hillary Clinton only won it by 2.9 percentage points, which is very, very disappointing for a Democrat in the state of Maine. If you look back at 2012, Barack Obama won it by 15.1 percentage points. If you go back to 2008, Barack Obama won it by, almost 17 or just over 17 percentage points, 17.1 percentage points there. So that's another very significant thing of note there, that, Maine has trended blue this election, but it's really not what it not what it used to be. You still got very solidly Republican counties up here in the north in Maine's 2nd district, which Donald Trump did win quite easily, and Joe Biden's lead could actually contract, it could expand, and we'll see, because we still only have 91% of the vote reporting. Most of it is in the 2nd district, so I do expect it to tighten a little, but regardless, Maine still did trend very Democrat this election. The next state is the state of New Hampshire. Now, New Hampshire trended 7 points Democrat. Now, many of you would be surprised. I actually put New Hampshire as likely Democrat, but many people were saying, oh, Joe Biden did bad here in the primary, did poorly here in the primary, that means he's going to lose the state. That didn't really make any sense. Hillary Clinton did very poorly here in 2016. She almost lost the state. She only won it by a couple thousand raw votes. Obama even only won it by 5.8 percentage points back in 2012, but Joe Biden was able to win it by greater than Obama 2012 margins, and the Obama 2008 margins were 9.5 percentage points. Joe Biden is getting up in that territory. He won all of the counties except for 2, and the 2 counties that he didn't win, they weren't even that far off for him. So he was able to trend the counties pretty much uniformly. I mean, none of them really trended more than the other counties. Even these counties that went to Donald Trump actually trended, quite far to the Democratic side. They all trended around 6 to 7 percentage points for the most part here. And that's of note because it shows you, again, how you have white voters here. This is a very white state like most of the Northeast is. And these are just voters that have been voting Democrat for a while. Maybe they didn't turn out in the 2016 election. Maybe they got appealed with Trump's populism, or they didn't like Hillary Clinton. There's a number of reasons that these things could be caused, but Joe Biden was able to win these voters back, even though he didn't win them in the primary, and he won it with very, very high turnout. You see that, you've got 800,000 votes cast, 800,000 plus votes cast. Last election you only had 600, just over 700,000 here. So that is another big turnout increase, which you'll see across the board. That's, it's in more states than others, but it really shows you how high this turnout was, and you can see that from the raw vote numbers as well. 66 to 63 in 2016. We are now at 79 to 73. So and then that number will go up too. Biden might even crack 80 million. It probably will, to be honest. The next state, though, is the state of Connecticut, which trended 6.3% Democrat. Now, this is pretty much the similar story with what I've been talking about before. Northeast Democrats that maybe didn't like Hillary Clinton, maybe they liked Donald Trump, whatever the reason. Joe Biden didn't actually flip any counties. He still lost these 2 counties here, but he did a lot better in the Hartford area, the Hartford suburbs. He did better in Fairfield County, which is effectively the New York suburbs as well. So he was able to do better in those places, and it gave him a pretty strong trend for the rest of the state. The next state, though, is the state of Maryland. Now, Maryland is a state, if we go down here to the state of Maryland, quite a small state, but it does have 10 electoral votes. Joe Biden won it, as you can see here, by 32.3 percentage points. So 32.3 percentage points there. Hillary Clinton only won it by 27 or 26.4 percentage points. So that is a 5.9 percentage point trend. The trend that we've seen in Maryland is, very much propelled by Joe Biden's increases in suburbs, which it is across the country. Baltimore City, Joe Biden, won it by 77 percentage points. Hillary Clinton also won it by 74 percentage points. So there's not much of a trend there. But if you look at Baltimore County trended very Democrat relative to the rest of the state. Same thing in Montgomery County, Prince George County. Those counties, the suburban areas, which is the gist in Nova, just the gist in Pennsylvania. It's the gist in a number of states, Arizona, even Florida. So that is a big trend that we're seeing across the country, and it made Maryland trend 5.9 percentage points Democrat. And you could see that all of those states so far, all 7 of those states so far were Democrat states. But Nebraska is a state that is a Republican state that did trend 5.8 percentage points Democrat. That's mainly propelled by the Nebraska's 2nd district, where Hillary Clinton did well. She actually did better than Obama did, especially in the 2nd district. But you know, you look at some of these suburban counties, you look at, for example, this county here, Washington County, even though Donald Trump won it by over 30 percentage points, or almost 40 percentage points, Hillary Clinton won it by even more. And we look at Douglas County, Hillary Clinton barely won it. You know, this time Biden won it by 11 percentage points, and that's what propelled him to a very strong victory in Nebraska's 2nd district, where he's currently winning it by almost 7 percentage points here. I had a lean Democrat, but nowhere near likely Democrat. So that is another significant win for Biden, and again, because of those suburbs. The second to last state here is the state of Minnesota. Now, Minnesota was won by Hillary Clinton by 1.5 percentage points, and it was won by Joe Biden by 7.1 percentage points. That amounts to a 5.6 percentage point trend. You know, Biden actually didn't do that much worse in these rural areas. He actually did better in some of these rural areas than Hillary Clinton, but the main area where he got his votes was the suburban areas. You look at Hennepin County was won by Joe Biden by 43.4 percentage points. In 2016, Hillary Clinton won it by, 34.9 percentage points. So nowhere near the margins that he got. Biden cracked 70% in this county. This is the Minneapolis area. You know, he brought up turnout amongst black voters, especially in this area, given what happened with, the George Floyd protest, and he also did better with white voters. So that is a very interesting thing to look at, and it's, surprising to me that Minnesota was so blue, especially since it was so different to a state like Wisconsin and Pennsylvania and even Michigan, because Michigan was quite blue, but Minnesota was way more blue than all of them. So that was quite a surprising thing to see. And then the final state here, the 10th state that trended the most towards the Democrats, is the state of Massachusetts, where every single county is blue. Now, Joe Biden won the state by 32.7 percentage points here. It is 93% reporting. It could tighten. It could expand. We'll see how it goes. But based off what it is right now, it has trended quite a lot. Hillary Clinton only won it by 27.2 percentage points. Joe Biden's now gone and won it by quite a lot more, and he's done better again in these suburban areas, and he's even done better like in a lot of these areas in these other northeastern states. He's done better in those rural areas, those rural counties where you have a lot of Democrats, white Democrats that are voting very differently from in the Appalachia area, and the Rust Belt area, the Midwest area, even the Southwest area, those kinds of areas. So it is quite an interesting thing to look at, the kind of dynamics, but really this election has been defined by the urban versus rural divide, and how in the 2016 election, you had that rural versus urban divide. You see mostly red counties in these rural areas. In 2016, that was just exacerbated even more, and that is something that we will continue to see, and I expect us to continue to see, and it's really making the country more polarized, and it could end up being a problem in the future. I think it already is a problem, but that is for another video. It's a very interesting topic, but this has been quite a long video, so I do want to wrap this up now. But that was the top 10 states that trended most towards Joe Biden and the Democrats in this election. So thank you all for watching this video. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also follow me on Twitter and join the Discord. Those are both linked down in the description. But again, guys, thank you all for watching this video, and I will see you guys later.